games got progressively more casual. Maybe people don't like to commit as much time, and there's so many options for games to play that are, like, give you fast fucking serotonin or whatever, you know? Like, you just get in there and get to fucking kill some people and get out. And you don't have to have that whole build-up. And before WoW, I actually played a game that even was more build-up. And I really want to explain it to you guys because there's so few people played this game. That sense of accomplishment thing. Yeah. When I was 10 years old, I started playing this MMO in 1999. I've told the story a couple times, but like I never really got deep into it. This is the story. I was 10 years old, and my brother, he's like, listen, and he this is so funny. He like thinks someone's gonna hear his idea or something. He closes all the blinds, okay, in the room, and he's like, okay, listen, I got this huge idea. I'm gonna make. In fact, he doesn't even know how, like, the legal issues of all this shit. I'm gonna make. It's 1999. A Pokemon MMO. And it's actually a really good idea, except that the Pokemon IP was fucking $10 million or something, right? But like, it was like a really good idea. And he's like, listen, we have to go play an MMO. There's only 3 of them right now. There's EverQuest and Ultima Online and Asheron's Call. We have to go try an MMO and see what they're like. And I'm going to make one of these. And he was like studying computer science at the time, right? I was like, I don't know. I was fucking hyped because I loved Pokemon at the time, right? I was like, this is the best idea I ever heard in my whole life, dude. It actually would have been fun. I always thought that a Pokemon game, I don't think Pokemon realizes this, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm actually wrong. But I always thought that it'd be so fucking awesome if they went away from how Pokemon originally was with the fighting with the turn-based, and they actually let you run around as like a Pikachu and just fire like fucking lightning bolts, or run around as a Charmander and shoot little things, and you're really immersed in the experience of fighting as the Pokemon. And I don't feel like they've given, maybe you guys have played some Pokemon game where they gave you a hint of that, but not like in a good way. They didn't do it well, right? I would have loved that. So we went to the store, back to the story. We went to the store to get an MMO, to research what MMOs were like. So he can make his Pokemon game. We go to the store, and there's 3 MMOs, like he said. And there was this one, and this is the box, okay? And you actually look at the box. And we went to Circuit City, which I don't even think it even exists anymore. This is a box. This is one of the boxes. And Ultima Online. We're just like looking at the box and trying to decide. And then I'm looking at it, and I'm like trying to pick. And then I was leaning toward EverQuest, actually. But then some fucking dude walks by who works at the Circuit City, and he said, no, dude. Asheron's Call is so much better. Do not take EverQuest. And I'm so fucking happy I didn't take EverQuest. EverQuest is a lot of like camping mobs and sitting around hoping when it spawns, you try to click it as fast as you can. You wait like 10 hours, things like that, okay? Mod him? Yeah, I need to find out. If he was an Asian guy, and his in-game name, his brother's in-game name was Shuriken. He even told me what server to go start on so I could meet him up in game. And I didn't even realize what that was. I didn't really play an online game. At the time, I played like Final Fantasy VII, Pokemon, Secret of Mana. Those are the games I was playing, right? Anyway, what happened was, first thing, I get home. We install the game, and then it starts downloading a patch. And I'm like, this is going to take forever. You see these little blue bubbles? Let's see if I can find it. Login screen. It was moving all across like this. And I'm on dial-up, okay? Because everybody was. And it's downloading 3 kilobytes a second. And the download was way the fuck bigger than this. I don't remember how big it was. But in the end, it didn't finish that day. I left it on the whole day while I was at school, and the next day, and the next day. You guys can't even relate to this shit because you fucking just grew up with fast internet, okay? And then it fucking finished patching, all right? At 3 kilobytes per second. And then I finally get to make my goddamn character, man, and I'm like, God, at this screen. Okay, I'm like so excited. And my brother wanted to go first. So he fucking bought the game. So he was going to go first, and he made his character, okay? So he makes his character, he picks his stats, and you get to customize so much shit. There were no classes in this game. You actually just pick the stats that you want and which skills you want to raise. And it makes really cool shit later on. Let me try to see if I can show. Okay, so you're making a character like this, and you pick what you want to specialize, like bow, melee defense, and it scrolls down. There's so much stuff. But you only have a limited amount of points. And if you want to go like something that's really crazy strong, then you're going to have to, it's going to be harder to level because you're not going to have, people did builds where you can't even attack because they wanted to spec magic defense, which is so expensive. You can't even attack things. You have to like punch it with your bare hands, okay? And you level so slow, and they would actually level this way, which is ludicrous, dude. So they could have magic defense spec'd when they finally got to higher level, and there's no like way around it. You can like boost your character or something stupid, you know? Back to the story. My brother's making a character. He makes a character. He names it something lame like the Cutting Edge. You could have like spaces in your names, okay? And then he's running around, and he messages this guy who was at Circuit City who was actually logged in. And then it's a huge world, and like they try to figure out how to meet up. And the world, you could run like hours and hours across the world, you know? You just go and go and go and go and go. And it's so hard to find each other. But he was in a starter zone, so this guy knew like one of the starter zones. You could pick which one you want to go to, and this guy kind of figured out how to find him. They found each other. And then there's a system in this game where you find each other. I'm just sitting behind my brother watching, okay? Okay, so I'm sitting behind my brother watching, and what I see is, when they meet up, this guy's like, okay, go in this tab and press the you swear allegiance to me. I was like, well, I was wondering what that does. And then the guy explained it. He's like, so what happens is when you kill shit and get XP, I'm going to get like 20% of your XP, but it's not going to take away from your XP. You're going to get 100% of your XP, but 20% of it also I'm going to get. So it's like win-win. And then since I get 20% of your XP, I'm going to give you items and shit. So he's fucking like giving you swords and shit for free. God, I can't draw. Holy shit. Okay? Which is a really cool system to make people help each other. Okay, so it was a patron-vassal relationship. There could be a tree of people. So there was like this. And then this guy at the top would be getting bajillion XP because it would go all the way up. The monarch. And he could just be a good monarch and help people out. And then he would be getting extra XP. And the leveling system, the whole time I played for 6 years, nobody hit max level. Think about it. Think about that. You could just keep going. So like here, you're level 32, and there's like 284,000 XP to the next level. And a monster, I don't know, would give you like 500. It's fucking ridiculous, okay? When you're leveling, you can click one of these things, and you just raise that specific skill with the XP you get, and it gets exponentially more expensive to raise the same skill over and over. You could raise your run skill. You want to run fast to get away from people or just to get around the world? You want to jump high? You can raise that to jump on top of buildings, okay? So it's really fucking cool, right? Anyone who's saying the name of another game, I saw somebody say Tibia. This game came before, so the game you're playing copied this, and you don't even know it. That was satisfying for me to tell you, people. Tibia is 1997. Wait, Tibia is... There's only 3 MMOs at this time. What's Tibia? Is it an MMO? I remember there were only 3 MMOs. It is one of the oldest MMORPGs. Dude, maybe I'm actually wrong.
Tea time?
I'm pissed! Okay, hold on. I never even heard of this back then. But what I want to say is, even if this game came first... These games would take so long to act in development that they probably like fucking didn't steal from each other. I don't know. They probably made it around the same time. Honestly, I'm a little pissed that happened because my game's from 1999. Moving on. Back to my cool game, okay? So I'm playing this game, and you get okay. So you can pick whatever the fuck you want to do, whatever skills you want to raise. Well, actually, my brother's playing right now, and he swore allegiance to this guy. And they're running around. He goes to the shop, buys him a bunch of armor, like chainmail armor, but you can't carry a lot of chainmail armor unless you raise your strength skill. Otherwise, you get encumbered and you run slower. So you have to go kill monsters and use your XP to raise strength if you want to wear heavier armor, if you decide you want to do that. Or you could just wear a robe and then you focus on magic type skills, right? So you can do whatever the fuck you want, and you have this total freedom. There's no skill, classes or anything, which classes are actually restrictive, and I never realized that. It's fun to make your own class, just whatever. My brother was like a sword dude, and anyway... he was running around with his friend that we met at Circuit City, and then he was making some joke like, this is really embarrassing that this happened, but he was making some joke like he took his character's underwear off and he ran around. He was like, look at me jumping around my tighty whities, dude. And his friend was like LOL'd in all caps, right? And I was watching behind him, And then I'm a 10-year-old. I can't believe that I did this. But the next day when I finally got to play, I hung out with the same guy and I made the same joke. And it's the cringiest thing I've ever heard. I took my character's pants off and said, I'm running around my tiny buddies. Look. Dude, it's like the fucking ridiculous, dude. But I'm 10, so I don't know. Anyway, what I decided to do, I wanted to be a mage. I made my first character, I raised my war magic, which lets you shoot like fireballs, lightning bolts, acid streams, like stuff like that. But then you have to learn the spells. And to learn the spells, you have to research. Oh my God, it was so complicated. Research spells. You have to put these ingredients in the correct fucking order. And until you get it right, there was like a hidden thing that we figured out. When people were casting spells, it said something in chat automatically. So if you saw somebody else cast a spell, I wrote it in a notebook that, like, if it said Malar, then it was this herb. And if it said Ka, then it was this thing. And if it said Sith, then it was this thing. I'd put it all together. I'd learn the spells that they were casting by seeing what other people were doing. And I was like, it felt so cool. And then you're running around the world. It looks like this. And there's like a fucking cow randomly, like a fucking comet going by or something. And you're running around this big open world. And there's a portal. And if you go in the portal, it doesn't two-way. Like, it takes you across the world to a new place. And you're kind of stuck there. You don't know where it's going to take you. And there's this feeling of mystery. And like, you don't know. It's such a big open place. And you're attached to your character. And if you die, you lose your items. It's just crazy, like this feeling, you get so immersed, okay? And you're playing for years. The items have a range of stats that is so fun. I want to explain. Like, you could have a sword. You could have a sword that was, for example, like 4 to 11 damage, okay? Like a white. And Diablo kind of copied this kind of thing a little bit, but didn't do it that well. You could find a weapon that is as bad as this or as good as this. And on top of that, there were additional things, like the weapon could be fiery, acidic, lightning, whatever, and different elements were getting against different things. It's weird that I wrote 11 before. I didn't mean to do that on purpose. But, okay, the weapons could be all these different things, and then you could get on your weapon, you could have plus melee defense. You could roll it between 1 and 15%. So imagine you have plus 15% to your melee defense. It's pretty crazy. You suddenly dodge all people's attacks. And then magic defense, you could have plus to 115% on the weapon. Missile defense, you could have plus 1 to 15%. And then also, it could be fiery, fucking acidic, whatever. And then you could have a major buff on the weapon you could get in no other place. And this buff would raise your skill by 15 to that stat. So if you got major fucking sword skill, it'd take you forever to raise your sword skill 15. You might have to grind for like 6 months. And this one weapon could do it. So you could get a weapon this good by just randomly killing things, and there was an infinite grind because you could always get a better weapon because no one ever rolled the best. And then once you finally get a weapon that's 55 to 65 with plus 15% melee defense, plus 15% magic defense, plus 15% missile defense, and a major buff to your stat, which no one fucking ever actually got a weapon that good. Then there was enchanting. Someone would try to imbue your weapon with armor rending, so it would ignore 70% of somebody's armor. If you wanted to imbue it with this, it would destroy the weapon 66% of the time. So you had to get lucky as fuck. And then it would destroy this weapon that you took so long to find. You got a fucking lightning weapon that's 55 to 65, 15% to every stat with a major buff. And then it just breaks. Okay? And then if it doesn't break and you have an armor-rending weapon that is 55 to 65, 15% to every stat, and it's lightning, and it has a major buff of your fucking sword skill, then at any moment while you're playing, somebody can come up behind you and kill you and take the weapon. So you have to be fucking on guard, dude. This motherfucker right here can just kill you in 2 hits, and you just gets your weapon forever. So you're fucking scared for your life if you see another person in the game. This is like a fight for something you grinded for 8 months that they just might take from you. And there's like so much on the line. And you're worried your internet's going to disconnect and fucking like, you're like so fucking tense, man. And no game gives you that feeling anymore. Actually depressing. But then, you go find a place. The map is so big, and you could find these life stones. And they were all around the world. You could find these life stones in little caves or on a mountain. And then if you find the life stone, you could bind your character there. So when you die, you go to this life stone, or you could portal back to this life stone, the one place you can portal back, okay? You find a life stone that's really secluded and hard to get to. And there's certain life stones you even have to fucking wall hack to get to the life stone, which I can't believe the devs thought that was cool, because I think it's really cool, but no devs of any other game would fucking do it. You feel like really protected on a plateau. This life stone I went to that you have to like wall hack to get up to. And I felt really safe, and no one's going to come kill me and take my shit. I'd even go AFK there sometimes. It was crazy to go AFK and leave your character logged in. I'd even AFK sometimes because I felt so safe in my life stone. You guys don't understand. Like, oh, this is people in pre-patch GSA, which is really cool gear because it's like one of the only gears in the game that you couldn't drop, but they took it out. You couldn't drop it on death, and it would sell on eBay for like $1,500 in 1999. And then this is an Althoy helmet. I remember all this stupid shit. And these are hollow weapons that ignore armor, but they do really low damage. And this is a person portaling in, and they're about to gank him. 4 people. This guy named Wind Rider. And they're saying, like, hurry, first room. And they're gonna kill this fucker and take his shit. Like, it's so cool. And you, I mean, this was my life. When I was 10 years old, I'd come home from school, play this shit every fucking day. So I remember how I said that when you were leveling up your skills in Asheron's Call, that if you wanted to make your character have magic resist, you couldn't attack monsters, okay? Because you didn't have enough points. So this guy who died to me and my friends many times and lost his gear was really upset. So he made a character, started at level 1, takes months and months and months and months to level. He had magic defense, so he had to punch things to death somehow until he could finally train up an attack skill. Even though he's a melee character, he started with full focus and self, which is the magic defense stats, at 100. He didn't have coordination, which makes you better at unarmed combat, and he didn't have endurance, which gives you health, and he didn't have quickness, which makes you run fast. He didn't have any of that. And he had to level with only strength, which makes him hit kind of hard, but he had 5 health to start. Instead of 50 health at level 1, he has 5 or something, right? His focus and self were maxed, so it didn't do anything because it just gave magic defense. He had to level this crazy way it took him like 8 months to level up. And he named his character Smirking Revenge. And he came to our fucking house on the top of the plateau where you have to wall hack to get up after he leveled for 8 months to come kill us and take our gear that we had fucking grinded for years. And he fucking went up there and he resisted 80% of my spells. And it was just me versus this guy with all this shit on the line that I could lose all my shit and he could lose all his shit. And I fucking beat him. Even though he had fucking 80% chance to resist my spells, I dodged all his spells because all the spells were projectiles. It flew through the air, and you could actually move out of the way. When a fireball came out, you were a lightning bolt. And we fought for like 15 minutes, and I killed him, and he was fucking dead on the floor, and I looted his corpse, dude. In Asheron's Call, it was really cool. And then in WoW, I actually was cooler. I mean, when I was playing Asheron's Call, you probably won't believe this because it sounds so hard to believe, but I was the best player in Asheron's Call. I won the 1v1 tournaments many times in a row, like 15 in a row, and just in-game loot that you get from it. I won actually like 15 times in a row. So, I mean, I was better in a percentile. I was better in Asheron's Call than I was in WoW. But then when I played WoW, in Asheron's Call, you could like 1v4 because you could dodge spells and stuff, right? Then when I played WoW, my friend who from Asheron's Call, we were level 30 and we were dueling, and he's a mage and I was a warrior the first time I was leveling, and he was fucking beating my ass over and over and he laughing at me because in Asheron's Call I would beat his ass, right? And then he was like, dude, you're never gonna be good at this game. And I was just like, I fucking will, watch. And he like was laughing. He's like, millions of people play this shit. You're nothing. Like, I don't know. He was like trolling me. And then I actually got good, right? This is cool. This game actually, it got shut down like a year ago, and there was this story with the grandpa that he really liked the game, and it's all he plays, and no other game compares. And he was talking about it, and I was talking about it on stream one day. It was really cool. 17-year-old MMORPG Asheron's Call shut down for good today. And I always tell people, like, because I got popular in WoW, right? But I always tell people this was my favorite game of all time. I liked WoW a lot, and I want to play WoW. I wish I'd fucking unban me, but this was my favorite game of all time. And I think nothing ever compares to your first MMO, because it really felt I was so immersed in the world, and it was never going to be like that again.